Am I the butthole for telling my mother-in-law I don't give an F what she or everyone thinks when she criticized how I spent Mother's Day? My relationship with my mother-in-law has been complicated to say the least. I'm my husband's second wife. I married him when his kids were 7 and 5. His first wife died when they were 1 and 3, and her death was very hard on my husband and his oldest. I actually met him while he was still in grief counseling, and so were the kids. We built up a friendship, and later, after he had dated a bit casually, we realized we had feelings for each other. It was a very rough transition. Not going to lie. The kids' maternal side were not pleased that he had found someone while the kids were young, and I do believe they eventually influenced the relationship I now have with my stepchildren, who are 19 and 21 respectively. To them, I am their dad's wife. This is how they introduce me. This is how they have introduced me the whole way along. Although they didn't really introduce me at all as younger kids, it was more than they got older. There has always been a strain there. It's tough. It has made my relationship with my eels, my husband's parents and siblings, at times uncomfortable. They see it as I have been around since before they can remember, and with them not remembering mom, I'm mom, or at least a mom type. The kids despise my best efforts. Have never embraced or truly accepted me into their lives. I think over the years they have accepted me into their dads. But it has spilled into how they see the children my husband and I have together. About 3 years ago, my stepchildren dug in their heels and refused to celebrate Mother's Day in any way with us. They always saw their maternal family, were always taken to their mom's grave, but even a dinner with me and the family was a very firm no, and after each one moved out they just stopped talking on Mother's Day with us. This year I took my kids to the beach for the day and had some good food and relaxed. My mother-in-law told me it was wrong to not even give my stepkids a chance to show up or call, that it looked bad, she thought I loved them, and all this other nonsense. She told me to think about how it must look to everybody else that I'm going off with just my bio kids and celebrating with them on Mother's Day. I told her it was my choice and I moved on. Then she brought it up again, same response. The third time she brought it up, after my husband had even told her to leave it alone, I told her I did not give a flying F what she or anybody else thought, and I am not going to be a glutton for punishment the rest of my life. She and the rest of my husband's family are outraged I said that to her and told me it was uncalled for. My husband told them I could have said much worse. Am I the butthole? Not the butthole. If your stepkids refuse to spend Mother's Day with you, what are you supposed to do? Forget you have your own kids and skip it? Nah, that's messed up. Also, this is not your fight. Your husband needs to handle everything with his family, and his late wife's family, from now on if they are going to be nasty to you. It's not your fault his first wife died, and they act as though he was supposed to be single the rest of his life after his first wife died. Original poster replies. He mostly always did handle things with his late wife's family. I did try to be nice and just try to see I wasn't here trying to erase their daughter/granddaughter/aunt, but yeah, I knew my place with them a long time ago. For the maternal side of the family, they expected him to wait until the kids wouldn't have another mom-like person or even another mom. At least that's how it has always come across. It wasn't the act of moving on, it was the when. So it seems like they expected him to not move on with his life until his youngest was 18, which would have been 17 years. That is absolutely ridiculous and wholly unfair to expect of anyone. Original poster replies. Around that length of time. Maybe if the kids had been teens and less likely to see me as anything but dad's wife. But they definitely appeared to want him to wait until it was next to impossible for a close parental bond to form between me and the kids, or whoever and the kids. Wow. It sucks that he didn't put them in their place early on. He controlled access to the kids, he could have solved this whole thing. Original poster replies. He did. Then they sued and won grandparents' visitation, which came with a lot of things we were unable to control. And they won even though he hadn't officially severed contact between them. That sucks. I hate GPR. Original poster replies. Even after all this I don't. But I feel like there should be some more rules to them, like in the case of parental alienation from the other parent. I think most places do have some form now, but I could be way off. I'm weirdly involved in the anti-GPR movement. My mentally ill mother keeps threatening GPR on us, not giving her access, and most places do have it. At least in my state, they only have standing if the child lived in their home at any point. among other things we can mostly control, so I prepped my sister on exactly how little leeway she should give that part of the family. I'm also a lawyer. It unfortunately kicks in when there's a death or divorce, and there's no mechanism to protect families from toxic grandparents once they kick in. I hope you and your kids had an awesome beach day. I can totally see your side, but I've seen the other side of it too. My cousin and his ex-wife had 2 kids. He was in the military and stationed for a while in another country and then in another state. His parents, my aunt and uncle, lived about 30 to 45 minutes away from his ex and the grandkids. They helped a lot, picking up the kids from school multiple times per week, keeping them if the ex had to work late, keeping them for weekends. They even kept them for a few weeks when she went on her honeymoon with new husband. Once, the ex, new husband, their new baby and the 2 grandkids stayed with them when a blizzard knocked out power to the ex's house. Then one day the ex got pissed at my cousin and pretty much to spite him, cut all contact with his parents. Their argument had nothing to do with the kids or his parents. After a couple of months of no contact, the oldest, who was still pretty young, got her mom's phone and called my aunt crying that she missed her. After that, my aunt and uncle sued for grandparents' rights and won. They got court-ordered visitation with their grandkids. I didn't even know those were a thing. How does that make sense? Just because my children choose to have children shouldn't mean I have a right to them. That makes no sense to me at all. Not a perfect analogy, but I feel like that's like saying, hey, the flowers in my yard dropped seeds into your yard, so I own half of those flowers too. Like, what? GPR seems like a good thing to have when good intent is present. If your grandparent has a good relationship with you, helped raise you, but your parents are not the best and there's some form of estrangement, yeah, get that healthy grandparent relationship. But then you've got horrible parents/grandparents who totally abuse the system for their personal agendas, and it ain't healthy for the kids. Especially not for the kids. Monsanto? So they didn't want you to form a maternal bond with your stepkids, but are mad at you for not celebrating Mother's Day with them? That makes no effing sense. Not the butthole original poster, this sounds so frustrating. Original poster replies. Their mother's family didn't, my eels did seem to expect us to be mother and children and form that kind of bond. I honestly think you have a really healthy perspective on this. I'm sorry your stepchildren didn't warm to you, and I hope that, as they grow older, they come to realize and recognize how much respect you've shown for their feelings over the years. Not the butthole. The stepkids haven't expressed interest in celebrating Mother's Day with you before, why would they now? Considering it sounds like you raised them from pretty young, I find that attitude pretty disrespectful of them, assuming you weren't a bad stepmother. But that's between you and them. Your mother-in-law is a butthole though. Not only has she and her family treated you poorly for years, she intruded where she had no right and kept pressing after both you and your husband told her to stop. It was past time to put your foot down, in my opinion. Original poster replies. I have just grown to accept that they wanted what their maternal family told them about, the mom who gave birth to them and raised them until her unfortunate passing, and over the years they believed it would be disrespectful or maybe even dishonoring her to accept me as anything other than the woman Dad is married to. At some point you do need to accept it even if you don't like it. Original poster replies. Yeah, if she had said it once and left it there it would be much easier, but she just had to keep pushing. They really screwed those kids up. They're squarely TA. She died. It's not as if they could wish her back to life. All they did was ensure that your stepkids never bound with you or their younger siblings, to hold a role open for a dead woman that they don't even remember. Bruh, important to remember that you have no idea whatsoever how these kids were raised or if original poster is a good parent or if she treated her own kids differently. Commenting on the situation at hand is fine, but going after the kids for what they're doing ignores that know literally nothing about them. The question is about the interaction between original poster and the eel. Try reading that again. User nevertheless a dissent was commenting on the family that screwed up the kids' relationship with original poster, not the kids themselves. And I agree completely that interfering with original poster and stepkids' ability to bond is certainly a butthole move. No judgment was directed at the kids. Reddit link. I'm going after the dead mother's family for hurting the kids. They cared more about the kids staying loyal to a woman they don't know. I think you are not the butthole here, but can I make a suggestion? You say when she asked you answered about what you wanted, etc. I suggest next time she pulls this you flip your answer and say something like, my stepkids have made it very clear that this is how they'd like a relationship to be. And I am respecting that. Are you suggesting that you think I should be ignoring their wants and boundaries and should invade their space because you are more worried about how it looks than their feelings? Every time she mentions something like this, reword it so that it's clear you are being respectful of the kids, and she is telling you to cross the boundaries the kids have established. Make sure everyone she does this you make it about how little care or respect her suggestion shows the kids rather than letting her frame it like you are selfish. The whole time I read this I was waiting for you to say you were the adult respecting the kids here. Not the butthole. She kept pushing because she wanted you to react badly, so she could play the victim. Sounds like the stepkids have roped their paternal grandparents into the hate on stepmom triangulation the maternal grandparents started. It would be a long time before I'd associate with any of them. My mother-in-law told me it was wrong to not even give my stepkids a chance to show up or call, that it looked bad, she thought I loved them and all this other nonsense. She's just mad that you didn't call and try to do cartwheels in order for them to still give you a hard no. She's mad that you dropped the rope in that sense. She just brought the love you have for those kids and what others might think up to make you feel guilty, but everything comes from her. No stepchild has called her crying because they felt excluded. They don't care about celebrating MD's Day with you, but mother-in-law does hate that you didn't spend at home doing nothing special. Not the butthole. Your stepchildren are adults and have made their choice, and it is to not have the type of relationship with you that would make you their mother. They have for a while now clearly communicated this, and are now out of the house and living their own lives. Furthermore, if they wanted to call you on Mother's Day and ask you how you're doing and ask to see you, they could have done that. No one stopped them from it. You just didn't invite them. It's not your duty to keep pushing them and initiating such interactions and trying to be their mother if it's not what they want. If anything, this kind of pressure is probably uncomfortable for them, and you'd be accused of trying to supplant their mother. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Maybe you could have handled all of this a little more diplomatically, but honestly I get why you'd be frustrated at this point. Edit, eel situation clarified. Original poster replies. That was my husband's former eels, not my eels, who established the mom would be the only mom stuff. Original poster replies. My husband's family, while not always great, did call me their mom and stuff, but it was such a direct conflict to what they heard from the other side, and in the end they fell into the side they agreed the most with or the one they felt worked for them. The more manipulative side. Not the butthole. Not only has it been your choice, it's long been your stepkids' choice to avoid your house on Mother's Day, and you moving on shows respect for their decision. It's so weird that your in-laws, who were so happy to push the she's not your mom narrative that influenced all of this, would have a problem with you not coercing them to spend MD with you. Original poster replies. It wasn't my eels, it was my husband's former eels, his first wife's parents. My eels would call me the kids' mom and stuff to the kids and would mention me as a parent around them. Why are your husband's former in-laws able to contact you directly? So inappropriate given their past behavior. They need to stay the hell out of your business. They are nothing to you, even more so that the step-kids are adults. Not the butthole. So let me get this straight, your step-kids haven't celebrated Mother's Day with you ever, but mother-in-law is pissed you didn't ruin your plans to accommodate them? Not the butthole. Your disappointment is part of mother-in-law Mother's Day celebration. I'd have told her I don't give an F as well. This paints a really saintly picture of you. In all of your reflection, can you think of how the kids see things? They are emotionally distant from you. Did they not like your rules when growing up? What was your parenting style? Were there any themes in your conflict with them? Not the butthole. She had it coming. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.